What if the calendar isn't just paper and dates, but a living drum that suddenly changes its beat? What if the first week of September 2025 is that moment the rhythm turns and the air tastes different, like rain before it falls? The Arcturians call this a threshold of magnitude, not loud yet, but deep. You may have felt it already, dreams running brighter, old thoughts loosening their grip, a small courage waking in your chest. This isn't about fear, it's about readiness. About remembering what you carried into this life and why you kept it safe till now. The silent stirring beneath the veil. There's a quiet level of life where things start before they show up, like roots moving long before leaves appear. You can feel this in the small pauses between your breaths, where a thought you didn't invite sits down and waits. The body notices first, not the mind, a little heat behind the heart, a tug at the back of the neck, a sense of standing in a doorway with no house around it. Nothing dramatic, just a deeper hum under everyday noise. It's subtle, and that's what makes it real. The kind of real you don't need to prove. People think awakening arrives like thunder, but more often it's the soft rearranging of furniture in a dark room. You reach for an old habit, and your hand stops halfway, not from discipline, but from something kinder. The cup of tea tastes fuller. The walk to the market feels longer, as if the world stretched to make room. Even the familiar street looks slightly tilted, like a painting reset on the nail. You can't explain it to anyone without sounding vague. Yet your bones nod back, as if they've been waiting for this nod. You may notice time misbehaving, an hour that won't end, a minute that won't begin. You stare at the clock and it seems to watch you back, unhurried, almost amused. In those small distortions, the veil thins, not to frighten, but to show you that schedules are agreements, not laws. You kept those agreements to stay steady, and that was wise. Now, a kinder agreement asks to replace them. A gentler pace that still gets you everywhere you need to go. Only now, you arrive with your breath instead of your brakes. Dreams carry letters you forgot to open. You wake with half a sentence and a feeling of having spoken with someone you trust, but cannot name. Don't rush to translate. Sit with the warmth, the shimmer in the ribs, the afterglow in the hands. Sometimes the message is the temperature of your morning, not the words you try to catch. Give the day permission to continue the dream. Let the kettle steam be your ink. Let the birds write in the margin of your window. Let the ordinary finish the sentence you couldn't hold. Old patterns will test their locks, rattle the door, and call you by your familiar nickname. They are not enemies. They are paperwork that needs a final signature. You don't have to fight them, only witness them with the kind of attention you were never given when you needed it most. Bring that attention now. Offer it like warm bread. Patterns soften when fed with presence. They stop asking the same questions and finally hear your answer. The stirring grows quieter, not because it fades, but because you are matching its frequency. There's a moment each day, maybe while washing a plate, when your chest loosens and your jaw stops negotiating. That's the permission slip. No choir sings, no light show. Just a person standing at a sink, sensing a door in the ordinary open half an inch. That is enough today. Half an inch is honest progress. And honest progress lasts. A week written in cosmic fire. The first week of September doesn't shout, it etches. Imagine a slow-writing flame, not to burn you, but to reveal the letters that were always carved beneath the soot. This kind of fire is patient. It knows that rushing turns wisdom to smoke. You will feel it as clarity wrapped in warmth. Like the moment a fog lifts and you realize the road was kind all along. Not brighter, clearer, not faster, truer. And truth, when it arrives soft, is easier to carry through a long day. You might sense decisions choosing you before you choose them. Not control, cooperation. You say yes to a walk and meet the person you needed. You say no to an old routine and find 2 hours waiting like loyal dogs on your doorstep. This week has a way of stacking small mercies in your pocket. You don't spend them all at once. You spend one kindness on yourself in the morning, and somehow the evening returns your change with interest. That's the arithmetic of a gentler fire. It multiplies what you treat with respect. Old goals may feel heavy, like coats out of season. You tried to love them because they once loved you back. But this week asks a different question. Does it still fit the person you're becoming? There's no shame in returning a dream to the shelf it came from. Someone else may need it more, and your hands deserve a better cut. You will know the new fit by how your shoulders stop apologizing, by how your feet remember their own patience. Conversations glow at the edges. The right words arrive after the right silence, and you don't punish yourself for waiting. Someone tells you a truth they have been rehearsing for years, and your listening lands like a soft chair. That too is fire, tender heat that lets the guarded heart thaw without losing its shape. Stories that once closed rooms now open windows. Air moves. People breathe. Even forgiveness can be measured in the lightness of a sigh. You may notice a quiet courage in your calendar. You remove one obligation that never fed you, and suddenly the whole week tastes of citrus. A small reordering is sometimes a revolution done with gentle hands. The cosmic fire doesn't demand you torch your life. It asks that you warm what matters and let what doesn't return to wood. No drama. Just the soft authority of someone who knows where their warmth belongs. In the end, this fire writes your name in a language your body understands. Not fancy, not loud, just yours. And when your name is written correctly inside you, ordinary days start behaving like allies. When timelines bend toward awakening, picture a river that suddenly remembers an older path and turns by a few quiet degrees. That's how timelines bend, rarely with noise, often with grace. You don't have to paddle harder, you have to notice the water's new intention. The bend shows up as odd timing, accidental meetings, or a book falling from a shelf right where the page already knew your question. You can resist, of course, but resistance chews energy. Curiosity makes tea. Choice becomes less about big forks and more about tiny hinges. You choose where to place your attention, and the door swings a little wider. You choose a kinder sentence to describe your morning, and the day chooses a kinder version of you. The bend can be measured in these micro-turns. They seem small until you look back and realize the coastline moved. No trumpet, yet the horizon is different. That's how new eras often begin. Inside sentences we finally stopped using. Déjà vu may visit without knocking, not to confuse you, but to show you the seam where timelines stitched. That familiar echo is a breadcrumb, not a trap. It says, "You've been close to this lesson before. Here's your chance to finish the stitch." The task is not to decode every omen. It's to trust the thread in your hand. Pull gently. Breathe with it. Let the fabric teach you how it wants to lie against your skin. Some relationships will feel like rooms you loved that now need more windows. Not wrong, just underventilated. You can open a window without moving out. You can ask for more fresh air without turning love into a courtroom. Where your voice shakes, honor the shake. That tremble is honest timber, not weakness. Strong houses creak when weather changes. Yours is learning a new season. Work may tilt too. The task you avoided starts calling you by your first name, kindly. Another task you clung to forgets your number. Pay attention to what seeks you with respect. There's intelligence in the invitations. You are allowed to stand where your efforts are met with reciprocity, not depletion. The bend is leading you to that address. It's on the same street, just a little further down than you used to stop. By week's end, you may not have a trophy. You may have something better, a quieter forehead, a steadier breath, a sentence you can finally say without swallowing. That's what a timeline bending toward awakening leaves in its wake. Not applause, relief, the breath of earth shifting in rhythm. If you listen with your feet, you'll notice the ground has a pulse. Not mystical for the sake of flair, simply the shared rhythm of living things agreeing to be here together. Recently, that pulse feels slower yet deeper, like a drum covered with thicker hide. Your body tries to match it. That's why naps arrive like gentle thieves, and mornings ask for water first. You are syncing with a rhythm older than language. This is not laziness, it's calibration. Practice is simple. Put your hand on your belly and let it rise like bread. Count to 4 on the breath in. Count to 6 on the breath out. The longer exhale tells your nerves the lion is a cloud today. Do that while the kettle sings, or while the rice sits covered and patient. Breathing is not another task. It's a doorway installed in every room you enter. You can step through any time, even mid-conversation, and no one needs to know. Notice how the body answers respect. Offer it a chair that supports your spine, water that remembers rivers, a walk that ends 5 minutes after your legs say thank you. Small courtesies are not small. They are how you join the planet's rhythm without making a speech. Your cells keep score. They reward you with clearer thoughts and kinder reactions when the world forgets its manners. That's a fair trade. You earned it. There's also the breath between people, the pause before replying, the space where you allow someone else's sentence to land fully. This week makes these spaces golden. You will see arguments shrink simply because both sides learn to inhale before they defend. You may not change a single opinion, yet somehow rooms feel safer after you leave. That's the kind of influence that doesn't brag. It just keeps working after the lights are off. Sometimes the rhythm speeds without warning. You feel wired, the mind buzzes like a neon sign. Instead of fighting it, widen your attention. Let the buzz belong. Walk slower, even if thoughts sprint. Drink warm water. Put both palms on your cheeks and hold there. The body understands being held. It will lend you its calmer music when yours is too fast to dance to. Partnerships like that are worth protecting. When the day ends, place your bare feet on the floor before you lie down. Thank the ground for holding your particular weight. Gratitude spoken to something solid makes sleep less lonely. The earth has never once dropped you. It's good to say that out loud. The Arcturian call, echoing in our cells. Calls like this rarely come in words. They arrive as a memory of dignity, as a straightening of the spine that no one asked for, as a willingness to tell the truth kindly and let it stand there without makeup. Some hear tones, some see colours, some only notice they stopped negotiating their worth at the door. However it comes, the message is the same. There is nothing to prove that love hasn't already proved on your behalf. You may feel a warmth between the shoulder blades, as if a quiet hand rests there. That warmth is not an instruction. It is permission. Permission to hold your shape in rooms that once asked you to fold. Permission to walk slower and still arrive on time. Permission to measure success by how little you abandon yourself to achieve it. It sounds simple, and simple is hard. But your cells remember. They were built with this recipe. Old self-doubt will try one more costume. It will speak in a voice you trust, offering helpful warnings with a frightened heartbeat underneath. Listen to the heartbeat, not the script. Thank it for trying to keep you safe. Then update the map together. Safety now includes being seen. Includes saying no thank you without writing a 3-page apology letter. Includes inviting support before pain becomes a project. This call does not demand ascetic heroics. You are not asked to walk on glass or hold your breath through joy. You are asked to be honest about what nourishes you, and then let nourishment be ordinary. Eat the soup. Call the friend. Water the plant. Say the blessing with your eyebrows if your mouth is tired. Sacred can be that simple. In fact, it prefers to be. You might find yourself drawn to simple service, quiet acts that restore balance in small territories. Tidying a shared table, sending a note that lands like cool shade, fixing a hinge no one else noticed. These are not small. They bend a day toward kindness. They teach your nervous system it can contribute without debt. Contribution without debt tastes like freedom. Freedom invites wisdom to sit closer. And if a single tear falls for no clear reason while you wash a cup, let it, not drama, release. A water droplet telling you the call was heard. That's how some confirmations arrive. A cup, a tear, a steadier hand. Ahead in this video, we'll walk into the 7-day corridor itself. How each sunrise of that first week quietly repositions your compass. How relationships recalibrate without ultimatums. And why a single sentence you speak on the 3rd day can ripple through months like a soft bell. We'll also touch the tender edges. The fear of losing what's familiar. The tug of war between comfort and growth. And the practical ways to keep your balance while the ground kindly shifts. There's a gentle map waiting just beyond this doorway, and the ink is still warm. Light codes hidden in the September sky. The sky has its own handwriting, and sometimes it writes in a script only the skin can read. Early September carries a shimmer that doesn't force the eye. It invites the body. Some call them light codes. I call them reasons to look up and remember your edges are porous in the best way. Morning light sits lower, more angled, like a friend leaning in with good news. You don't have to understand it to receive it. Let your shoulders open a thumb's width. Let your gaze rest longer than your hurry usually allows. You might notice colors behaving like advice. The blue asks you to drink deeper breaths. The soft gold near evening suggests you put down what can wait. Even the grey days are generous, giving your mind fewer distractions so your heart can practice its steadier beat. This is not superstition. It's relationship. You and the sky have been exchanging notes since childhood. Paper planes of wonder you forgot how to fold. September hands you the instructions again. Take short walks without the armor of endless thinking. Let your steps match the cadence of the light, slow in shadow, easy in open patches. There's a conversation happening between your souls and the sunlit ground. The subject is belonging. You don't have to add anything. Your attendance is enough. And on days you can't walk, sit by the window. 5 minutes of honest looking can unknit a whole afternoon of static. Rest may feel different. Not just sleep, but that pause where your bones sip silence. Give yourself tiny doses. 2 minutes before you stand. A breath before you answer the phone. A smile you don't owe anyone. Little rests grow big stamina. They also make the light inside you easier to see from the outside. Others will notice without knowing why they feel safer near you. Safety has a glow. There's an art to letting light do the heavy lifting. You don't wrestle perspective into place. You turn your face a few degrees and receive what was always there. Wisdom is often a well-lit corner you finally agree to sit in. No horns, no halo, just a better chair near a window you once kept closed because you thought drafts were dangerous. Now you know fresh air tells the truth gently. By week's end, the sky will feel less like scenery and more like an ally with pockets full of quiet gifts. Take one. Leave one. That's how friendships last. The heart's portal, opening without warning. Openings seldom ask permission. They occur mid-laundry, during a radio ad, or while peeling an orange that suddenly smells like childhood. The heart portal isn't a door with hinges. It's a softening of guard duty. Your inner sentry sets down the heavy spear and chooses a lighter posture. Not naive, available. That availability changes your day's choreography. You find yourself speaking slower, hearing more, and answering the world with fewer rehearsed lines. You may feel pressure in the sternum, a hand from the inside pushing outward. Don't panic. Place your hand there from the outside and meet it. That simple meeting does more for healing than 1,000 clever explanations. The body relaxes when it is met, not managed. Tears might visit. Let them wash the hinges. Rust isn't wrong. It's proof you lived through weather. Hinges sing better after rain. Old stories will try to re-enlist you. They'll tell you opening means danger, that softness is an unlocked gate for thieves. Smile at their devotion. Thank the old guards for their long service and offer them a warmer assignment, watching sunsets perhaps. When fear loses its job title, it becomes a decent neighbor. It mows your lawn when you're away. It keeps an eye on parcels. It stops reviewing your worth. A heart that opens without warning also forgives without ceremony. Not the kind that erases accountability, the kind that stops poisoning its own water. Forgiveness is a plumbing choice. You unclog a line so your house can sing again. The person who hurt you may never hear the song. That's all right. The music was for your rooms, your sleep, your mornings that deserve lighter spoons. Practice tiny bravery. Answer one honest question with one honest sentence. No embroidery, no defense, just the clean line of truth placed gently on the table. Watch how the room rearranges around it. Humans lean toward warmth when it doesn't scald. Your honesty will teach others their skin can survive its own weather. That's a generous education, a crumbling of the old earth patterns. Patterns don't vanish, they retire. They hand in their uniforms and try to sneak one last shift. You'll know them by the way they demand drama to feel alive. This week offers another model. Change that doesn't need fireworks. Habits loosen like old knots in warm water. You don't yank. You let heat and patience do what tension never could. That's grown-up alchemy. Quiet, thorough, and kind to your wrists. Watch for the ritual of almost speaking, almost resting, almost asking for help. Almost is a stalling tactic, dressed as preparation. Trade almost for one small act. Turn I should into I did 1 minute. That minute is a wedge in the old machinery. Once the wheel is wedged, it cannot grind you in the same way. Small wedges have saved more lives than grand declarations. The body keeps the minutes of old meetings. Shoulders that learned to carry 3 people's worth, jaws that rehearsed arguments for rooms you never entered. Let those muscles retire their overwork. A warm compress, a slower chew, a longer exhale at the red light. Mercy measured in domestic gestures. This is not trivial. It's how empires inside you finally agree to stop conquering their own citizens. Money stories will surface too, scarcity's favorite bedtime tales. Numbers aren't enemies, they're vocabulary. Learn a new sentence this week. This amount is honest for today. Honesty calms spreadsheets. Plans breathe better when shame leaves the room. From that breath, better choices volunteer. You won't have to chase them. They will raise their hands like good students who actually did the reading. Relationships built on rescue may ask for a different architecture. You can love someone without renting out your spine. Offer support that doesn't collapse your knees. Offer care that doesn't punish your sleep. When mutuality becomes the design principle, houses stop creaking at night. Everyone rests better when each beam respects the others. One morning, you'll reach for an old pattern and find an empty hook. Nothing there to carry. The relief will be so plain you may laugh. That laugh is a milestone, unphotographed, honest, and finally yours. The rise of souls, long forgotten. There are parts of you that sat in the balcony for years, patient, observant, unwilling to push to the front. September calls them down, not to rescue you, but to rejoin you. You will feel old skills returning with no fanfare, crafts you dropped, songs you stopped singing, a way of comforting others that once came naturally. They're back not because you failed, but because the stage is ready for their exact light. Ancestral echoes arrive too, not in heavy boxes, but in small tools. A proverb in your grandmother's cadence, a habit of repairing before replacing, a love for keeping the kettle clean so tea tastes like respect. These inheritances are practical magic. They help you build a life that holds you without squeaking. They turn ordinary days into sturdy bridges. Friendships may reshape around these returns. Some companions preferred the version of you who stayed dim to keep the room calm. Let them have their preference. You have a duty to the light returning to your hands. True friends adjust their eyes and smile. Not all will. That's not a war. It's weather. Carry an umbrella of grace and keep walking. You'll notice generosity getting smarter. Not bigger, smarter. You'll give where growth answers back. You'll stop pouring into bottomless cups and start watering roots that actually drink. That shift is not selfish. It's ecological. Your inner forest has needed this forestry plan for years. Now you have the map and the will to follow it. Sacred alignments in the first 7 days. Think of the week as 7 small rooms, each with a specific kind of light. You don't have to name them, just notice. Day 1 often carries courage. Day 2 prefers order. Day 3 likes truth told plainly. Day 4 invites rest that still accomplishes something. Day 5 brings friendly surprises. Day 6 steadies the ground. Day 7 asks for a thank you, said with both hands. This isn't a rule book. It's a rhythm you can dance without counting. Make tiny rituals, not grand ceremonies. A cup placed mindfully, a window opened at the same hour, a sentence of appreciation for whoever grew your breakfast. These stitches hold fabric together when weather changes. Rituals don't impress the sky. They align your inner furniture so you stop bumping your shins in the dark. Less bruising, more grace. That's a fair trade. Pay attention to thresholds, doorways, gate latches, the moment before a call connects. These are micro altars. Pause there. Breathe once. Let the old room close kindly behind you and let the new room receive you without rush. Threshold awareness turns ordinary movement into guided travel. You arrive more often as yourself, and that changes the quality of every room you enter.